Natasha Cloud is a WNBA champion, one of the best point guards in the league. She was a starting point guard for the New York Liberty, one of the best teams in the WNBA last season. And suddenly she is not on a WNBA team. Why is that? It ain't because of basketball that a WNBA champion ain't on a team. It's because she's vocal about her political views, including supporting Palestine. Y'all knew it was coming. She has been very vocal about free Palestine.
You got him. You definitely caught him. Once again, WNBA teams refuse to hand over millions to Natasha Cloud because she fights for the rights of the oppressed Palestinians. This is so unfair. I don't know who the young lady is in that clip, but to her credit, she is partially right. Part of the reason that Natasha Cloud has had her hard hat revoked and has essentially been blackballed from the WNBA dump is because of her communist anti-American mentality. Uncle Casey, that's not true. Multiple sources have confirmed that WNBA teams aren't blackballing Natasha Cloud. They just can't find enough pesos to pay her what she's worth. Where have I heard that before? I seem to remember the NFL echoing the same sentiment 10 years ago when Colin Kaepernick was kicked out of the league for developing an indefinite knee contusion caused by constantly kneeling for the national anthem. At the time, Roger Goodell, hey, it's me, Roger G! At the time, Uncle Roger in the NFL was accused of mythical racism. They were accused of keeping the biracial man down. But just like it is with Natasha Cloud, Colin Kaepernick being blackballed for his political views, that was the symptom. LeBron James, he kneeled for the national anthem. 6 years ago, the self-proclaimed king was delivering passionate sermons on police brutality. Hell, at one point, LeBron James was accused of subtly threatening a cop's life on social media. But LeBron, he wasn't blackballed from the NBA. Now, I do think that Adam Silver told him to shut up and dribble, but even with record low ratings for the NBA Finals, Adam Silver wasn't kicking LeBron James out of the league. Why? Because LeBron James provided value that very, very few can provide. That is what it's all about. Value. I know this is a new concept for WNBA players since, they've never been financially valuable before. For decades, this dump of a league has been operating as a charity. It was similar to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. When I grow up, I want to be paid to pretend to play basketball. The NBA needed a tax shelter for the billions of dollars they were generating. They created the WNBA. Players were making minimum wage. There was minimal investment in the league, along with minimal expectations. But now, the WNBA is operating as an actual business. Hundreds of millions of dollars have been invested into the league. With her communist mindset, I know Natasha Cloud believes the millions invested in the WNBA is owed to the players. They believe they're entitled to that money. But what they are quickly figuring out, along with the money, comes expectations to perform. Now, I'm not talking about performing on the court. I'm talking about drawing an audience, your ability to generate revenue. If you don't have that ability, which most players in the WNBA don't, the last thing you can be is a repellent. The last thing you can be is politically divisive. Unfortunately for Natasha Cloud, she has a very long history of division, and clearly, WNBA teams believe that Natasha Cloud doesn't provide enough value to overcome it. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's go and get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Sugar Mountain Trading. Glenn is one of my longtime viewers. He's been watching me here on the channel for years. Several months ago, he strained his shoulder while picking up his dog to take her outside. He thought the pain would go away, but weeks later, Glenn was still dealing with shoulder pain. The over-the-counter meds, they were doing nothing to alleviate it. Like most of my daily viewers, he had been hearing me talk about the efficiency of the CBD lotion from Sugar Mountain Trading for almost 2 years now. So a couple of weeks ago, Glenn ordered his first bottle of CBD lotion from Sugar Mountain. He applied the lotion to his shoulder. Several minutes later, the pain was gone. My uncle has been using the CBD from Sugar Mountain Trading since November to alleviate his pain so he can sleep at night. He was using pain meds, but he doesn't take the pain medication anymore because he doesn't need it. The CBD effectively alleviates his pain. I have got countless stories from viewers, friends, family. Everyone tells me the same thing. They cannot believe this stuff actually works. There is a reason Sugar Mountain Trading has been with me here on the channel for almost 2 years now. My audience keeps buying their CBD because Sugar Mountain Trading is the real deal. All CBD products offered at Sugar Mountain Trading, 100% natural, 100% free of THC. So click the link in the description or the pinned comment below. Use my promo code BTL25, BTL25. Receive 25% off your first purchase with Sugar Mountain Trading. Yesterday, Jonathan Kolb, the general manager for the New York Lesbians, or as Natasha Cloud used to call him, my primary subsidizer. Over the weekend, Jonathan Kolb spoke to the media after their preseason game. He was asked about Natasha Cloud and why he refused to offer her an extension. Now, this is pure speculation on my part, but I got the sense that Jonathan Kolb, I don't want to say he was uncomfortable, but he appeared to be a bit hesitant while answering the question. He was very careful with his words. And look, it's understandable. I'm sure he doesn't want to be accused of mythical racism or even worse, misogyny. But listen to his response as to why he refused to re-sign Natasha Cloud. Watch it for yourself.
I also want to be really intentional that I'm in no way, I would never dream of talking about Natasha without her being present to speak for herself. She's a phenomenal teammate. She's awesome. She's an awesome human being. She's a phenomenal basketball player. She belongs to the WNBA. What she stands for is what I stand for. I believe in speaking up for the voiceless. There is no better embodiment of that than Natasha Cloud. And she puts her life on the line every single day almost with saying for what she believes. What really happened here for us really isn't about fit. It's about our targets in free agency and the condensed nature of free agency and how quickly things really move, but also kind of probably felt like they took a while too. Because when you're in the dark on things and we're pursuing other I don't know, opportunities, it probably doesn't feel good. And so for me, I just want to get that out there. Tasha's amazing. Look what she did. She's a New York legend in 1 year.
This was basically a non-answer. Oh, you know, we couldn't re-sign Tosh because of free agency, or maybe it was money or something. But listen here, Natasha Cloud is a hot prospect. She's one of the best players in the league. Tasha is extremely valuable. If Natasha Cloud is so valuable, if Natasha Cloud is one of the best players in the league, why is she unemployed? I'll be honest with you. When we talked about this, I believe it was last Monday, I thought Natasha Cloud would have found a job by now. She's a decent player. Hell, by WNBA standards, Natasha Cloud is a great player. So why is she still standing in the unemployment line with Jamel Hill? According to Annie Constable, who used to work at Front Office Sports, I believe she is now a WNBA insider for The Athletic. According to Annie, I have confirmed with the league, Natasha Cloud is not, I repeat, Natasha Cloud is not being blackballed. Obviously, the WNBA is doing damage control. They don't want to risk offending their audience of identifiers, but teams are hesitant to pay Natasha Cloud because she's not worth the risk. Once they give her guaranteed money, they know they can't control her. Natasha Cloud willingly admits she is a political activist first and a pretend basketball player second. WNBA teams know they can't tell Natasha Cloud to shut up and dribble. Well, this is discrimination. The WNBA is stifling free speech. If that's the way you want to look at it, sure. But there is a key word in that narrative: free. You can have all the free speech you want while you're not taking someone else's money. But the second you sign that contract, you willingly sacrifice some of your freedom. That's part of the agreement when you accept their money. People are being fired from fast food places for what they post on social media. Those people are literally making minimum wage. I don't understand where this expectation came from that you can accept millions of dollars of someone else's money and you think you're entitled to do and say whatever the hell you want. If Natasha Cloud doesn't like these new standards in the WNBA, she can go out and start her own league, or she can play with Unrivaled if that secondary dump still exists. Earlier this morning, I was watching the Netflix documentary on the Jailblazers. For all the kids in Gen Z who weren't alive during this era of the NBA, the Jailblazers era in Portland ran from the late 90s to the mid 2000s. They were nicknamed the Jailblazers for obvious reasons. They were constantly getting into trouble. Ruben Patterson was a convicted sex offender. Damon Stoudemire was getting arrested for smoking doobies. Rasheed Wallace, he set an NBA record for technical fouls in a season that still hasn't been broken. Draymond Green has tried multiple times to break the record, but the copycat is never as good as the original. Sean Kemp, Bonzi Wells. Hell, Bonzi Wells, he never got into legal trouble, but he basically told the fans in Portland that we don't need your business. The problem is, eventually, the fan base listened. Even though they were a constant embarrassment, the Jailblazers era, it lasted for 7, 8, maybe 9 years. Why? They provided value. They were one win away from making the NBA Finals. If they don't miss 13 consecutive shots in the fourth quarter of Game 7 against the Lakers, the Blazers would have made the NBA Finals, and they would have probably won that series. This team was stacked. They were winning 50 games every season. But in 2003, coming off a 50-win season and another first-round exit in the playoffs, ownership blew up the team. They fired the general manager. They traded away most of the players from the last era because the Jailblazers became more trouble than they were worth. It always comes down to value. When teams are committing millions of dollars to players, it always comes down to the value the player provides. And every team in the WNBA seems to believe that Natasha Cloud is not valuable. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.